by going to pray by the grave sites of Tzaddikim. It's something which is unbelievable, especially if someone has the merit of being in the Holy Land, where here the graves of Tzaddikim are just unbelievable. Of course, there's graves of Tzaddikim all over the world. Europe, America, Canada, wherever, Morocco. But in Eretz Yisrael, there's a special taste to the graves of Tzaddikim, in that they are all-inclusive souls. The majority of the Tzaddikim, the graves of Tzaddikim that are here, are from the time of the Bible, or from the time of the Mishnah, or the time of the Gemara, and for sure later on understood. But in general, just to go back, there's a special benefit and merit activated when a person takes time to go to pray by the graves of Tzaddikim. Reb Noson explains this idea amazingly. In his Likutey Halachot, it's called Hilchot Ktovet Ka'aka, Halacha Gimel, in the section called Yorediyah. He says there something amazing. He says that Tzaddikim, even after they pass away, are always looking to go higher. Normally we learned that only Mishetarach Be'erev Shabbat Yochal B'Shabbat. Someone who worked hard on the eve of Shabbat, which is called this world, someone who worked in this world, so he eats the crops, he reaps the benefits, the reward for that in the world to come. But that's it. Once a person passes away, they can do no more mitzvot. So technically, so to speak, there's no more advancing. This is not true of the Tzaddikim, and that because the Tzaddikim were constantly fighting this battle to always advance from level to level, never stopping. That's the definition Rebbe Nachman gives of a Jew, and also by extension of the true Tzaddikim, is that they're never satisfied with a level, because they know that Hashem's compassion is endless, has endless levels of Hashem's greatness and compassion, and it's worth activating, connecting to, revealing these higher levels. So to do that, the Tzaddikim are always struggling to reach higher levels. But as is known the rule, there's always what's called Yerida Letzorech Aliyah. There's always a down before the up. Judaism is not just going up, 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 but there's an up, and then there's a down, and then there's an up again, higher, and there's a down. It's like the grids on the stock markets. Ups and downs, but going upwards. So, the Tzaddikim in their lifetime, they're always seeking how to get closer and closer and closer. And because they're so involved in this in their lifetime, even after they pass away, so to speak, in a certain perspective, because they can't do physical mitzvot to use for advancing, because they're not physically here anymore, they're in the grave, still in their perspective, in their aspect, they have this act activated of being able to continue going up. This is especially true, Reb Noson explains, that when people come to pray by the graves of Tzaddikim, what happens when this happens is that Tzaddikim, the Arizal explains, part of their nefesh, the lower soul, is found by their grave. That's why there's the custom of going to pray by graves of Tzaddikim. It's not just rock and earth and bone tissue, a skeleton, and that's it, and just a body underground that's dead. God forbid, that's not the case. The soul of the Tzaddikim are also to be found in their body, the lower soul. The upper soul and the spirit go up, and they're connected to the lower soul. That means that a person wants to daven by a grave of a tzaddik, it's like in a way a portal to higher worlds. That's why there's a benefit of praying by graves of tzaddikim. So now watch this. The tzaddikim are looking, even after they pass away, to go up higher levels. But in order to go up, they have to go down. How does it apply for a tzaddik who's passed away to go down? So, what happens is, you have, let's say, a Joe Schmo, a regular guy. He goes with all of his problems and difficulties and all of his blemishes and all the things that he's going through. He goes to pray by graves of tzaddikim, especially great tzaddikim, like the ones here in the Holy Land. And he pours out his heart to Hashem with what he's going through. He's talking to God, not talking to the tzaddikim, talking to Hashem. So because the tzaddik's lower soul is to be found by the grave, when this little guy, this little Joe Schmo, goes to the grave, the tzaddik who's on lofty levels, but still his lower soul is connected to his grave, he received like an antenna, a beeper call, to come back to his grave. In other words, the attention of the upper soul and the ruach should be reconnected to the lower soul at the grave. And they come also, those parts of the soul of the tzaddik, come down to hear the person's prayers and his brokenheartedness, and go up with this force to daven for this person also. The person himself is davening to Hashem, and he's davening by the graves of Tzaddikim, so that it should activate the merit of the Tzaddikim. What do the Tzaddikim do also when they hear this person with his broken heart davening by the graves of their graves? They also go up to daven. So what happened was that this tzaddik went down, his soul, upper soul, and the ruach, so to speak, went down to reconnect to the lower soul, who's hearing, because the person's come to close proximity to the grave of the tzaddikim, that tzaddik, they're hearing, the upper parts of the soul of the tzaddik are hearing the person's bitterness and his outpouring of his soul that he's letting out of the grave. And with that force, this gives the tzaddik a momentum to go up higher, to also daven for this person, and going up higher in order to reveal a newer level of compassion that can have compassion even on this person. Because until now, as great as the tzaddikim daven and try to reach new levels of Hashem's greatness in order to reveal newer levels of compassion, if after these newer levels someone is still suffering and brokenhearted and going through difficulty, that means that tzaddikim have yet more work to do to activate newer compassion to help on this person now with his new situation. Because otherwise, why are they coming now with their difficulty? The tzaddikim have already activated and revealing compassion, Hashem's compassion into the world, so technically this person shouldn't be complaining or having difficulties. The fact that he's having difficulties means there's more work for the tzaddikim to do to help this person. So they have a thrust, the tzaddikim, after their passing, to go up higher. So in a nutshell, by praying by graves of tzaddikim, everybody benefits. Number one, the tzaddik himself benefits because it gives him momentum going down like a trampoline, a springboard, in order to go up higher to daven for this person also. And the person himself also comes to daven by the graves of tzaddikim. This is also a push now that he has much more better chances of his prayers getting answered. Quoting, phrasing Rebbe Nachman in his book, the Aleph Bet book, something unbelievable. It's good to keep this in your pocket for your whole life. That when a person prays and goes to graves of tzaddikim, in heaven they do favors for this person even though he doesn't deserve them. He doesn't deserve these favors. He's done terrible things, let's say, God forbid. He doesn't deserve it. Everyone else has given up on him. Yet, he submits himself. He shows submission by going to daven to Hashem by graves of tzaddikim, showing that he admits that there's much more greater than him and he wants to connect to it. They do for him favors, tovot, osim lo tovot, af al pi she'enu ra'ui lekach, even though he's not fitting and deserving for them. This is the power of the graves of tzaddikim. One aspect, of course.